Parents and students alike are upset on the university's response to COVID-19.
See how the university responds to the complaints. That and more next.
Good evening and thank you for tuning in to Newswatch Ole Miss. I'm Grayson Wolf.
And I'm LEAH BLEVINS.
With finals week quickly approaching, this most unusual semester is quickly drawing to a close. And while it's certainly been a semester for adapting, many Ole Miss students and parents are upset with the way the university has been handling these changes.
Newswatch reporter Kaylee Crafton has more on the story. Kaylee?
To say this semester has been unusual would be quite the understatement. The coronavirus has affected each and every one of us in both similar and different ways. And as the university has adapted and confronted these challenges to protect their students, faculty, and staff, several parents and students are reaching out with their frustrations in regards to what the university is, or rather isn't, doing.
On a normal weekday morning, the parking lots would be packed. There'd be steady streams of students passing between the Union and Grove, and many classrooms would be full. But normalcy left in March, leaving many questions and challenges in its wake. But UM official Jem Zook says that the university administration has met these challenges with months of planning and preparation in order to transition back into the new academic year and the new normal.
There was extensive planning that went into this fall, and I think everybody knew going in that this was going to be a challenging semester. We've never had a semester like this. We've never been in a pandemic before. We've never had to really rethink everything that we do as a university, not just how classes are delivered, but living arrangements, food service, etc.
That planning consisted of making decisions that would adhere to CDC guidelines and government mandates, and ultimately keep members of the Ole Miss family safe. A major call for the university was the decision to have some in-person, some hybrid, but mostly remote or online classes. And while some students are doing well with these formats, others, like sophomore Lydia Johnsey, are having more difficult experiences.
I had really also been struggling a little bit with some of my professors, just relating to them, reaching out to them. Their accessibility has just been so difficult, I feel like, this semester, which is to be expected. But I have had one professor in particular who has made it extremely difficult to succeed in her class without having prior knowledge of the materials.
Johnsey claims that in this particular class, there's virtually no instruction. And according to other Ole Miss students and parents, Johnsey's situation isn't all that unique. Pat Tucker, parent of an Ole Miss senior, has recently become a vocal member on the Keep Mississippi University's open Facebook group. The group, composed of over 6,000 members, seems to be primarily dedicated to keeping Mississippi universities accountable for holding in-person classes as much as possible and delivering well-taught remote classes when it's not. Tucker shares that he, along with several other parents, doesn't feel the university is ensuring that their professors provide students with sufficient instruction.
I think we're shocked, we're dismayed. We feel like we have, we feel like there's a breach of contract here. We paid the university a lot of money for their professors to teach our students, and we're not getting that.
Tucker also shares that while students are facing a number of problems academically, the issues don't stop there. He states that multiple parents have reached out to him directly, or they've posted on the Facebook group about their students' mental and emotional problems through all of this. And Tucker believes that UM administration is showing a lack of empathy for these students.
The number of stories that we've seen from students and parents where students have had mental and emotional breakdowns and their parents had to come get them. It's ridiculous. And the administration has shown no concern about those.
Stephanie Opolka, a mother of an Ole Miss freshman, is all too familiar with the emotional toll that this semester has had on students. A few weeks ago, she flew in from Maryland to take her son home after he experienced an emotional breakdown. Opolka shares that this semester has left her questioning her decision to send her son back to Ole Miss.
It almost, you start questioning, am I doing a disservice at the least, and at the worst, actual harm to my child by sending him back to a place who has demonstrated this poor decision making and a lack of empathy for these kids and figuring it out.
According to Zook, administration is aware of these issues that many students are facing and is committed to helping those that need it.
We're certainly aware that that this environment is working better for some students and less well for others. If we know about specific needs for any individual student, we are taking action to help them get tutoring, if they need some form of counseling, if they need other forms of support. We are here to help, because that's why we're here, is to serve our students.
But according to parents like Tucker and Opolka, along with several others, these efforts aren't enough. Tucker says that parents, students, and alum have sent thousands of letters and emails to administration with little response. They've also reached out to government officials at the city, state, and national levels, hoping to incite some change. But according to Opolka, there's a simple solution for all of this.
And honestly, mine's simple. Open up the campus and teach our kids. Teach these students what they said they were going to teach and what we've paid them to teach. Period. It's that simple for me.
For Tucker, the solution is a bit more complex. He states that the university should open up as much as possible, but he's also calling for academic relief for students, for the university to admit their mistakes, and to get to the root of the problem. But despite these feelings, Tucker shares that his intention through all of this isn't to hurt Ole Miss, but rather to save it.
I love Ole Miss. And really my ultimate goal, besides saving these kids, is saving the university. We're not out to get the university. We're trying to save it from apparently, a situation certainly that's ruining the students, the reputation, and the future of Ole Miss. And if I'm fighting as much for Ole Miss as I am for these students.
After I had already spoken to the parents, Chancellor Boyce released a letter to Ole Miss parents on Tuesday outlining the university's plans to further support students for the remainder of the semester and in the upcoming spring semester. A few things Chancellor Boyce shares are the university's commitment to offering more face-to-face instruction, looking to expand classes to non-traditional spaces on campus and potentially off-campus locations, allowing for more options for student organizations to host activities off-campus, extending the library's hours, and more. For a full list of these initiatives, you can visit coronavirus.olemiss.edu and read the Fall 2020 update. Kaylee Crafton, Newswatch, Ole Miss.
Thank you, Kaylee. The university announced a new safe haven for struggling students. The academic support program is being moved to Johnson Commons East, next to the Rebel Market. This expanded space will accommodate students facing various academic issues, such as probation or lack of motivation. Students have access to academic consultation and success coaching. COVID-19 related precautions have made in-person academic assistance difficult for many. The expanded size allows for more in-person interaction. However, many services offered by the program are available over Zoom.
And that study space continues to be important for students as our area sees no clear end to COVID-19. Ole Miss currently has 29 active confirmed COVID-19 cases, including both students and staff, staying steady from last week, while experiencing over 650 confirmed cases inside the town of Oxford since school resumed, according to the university dashboard. The Lafayette County reporting approximately 120 cases, an increase for our isolated area. The state unfortunately reporting 1,000 active cases. The continuing COVID-19 pandemic is shattering students' hope of returning to normal classes in the spring. We have more on the reasons behind this difficult decision.
Breaking points when running into problems when making their upcoming spring schedules. With Ole Miss changing their expected all in-person classes 2 weeks ago, this upcoming spring semester is going back to remote and hybrid, causing students to panic. Ole Miss student Hayden Wigg says she's frustrated and confused trying to figure out her upcoming spring schedule due to this abrupt change.
8 a.m. to 9:50? No, girl. I find the fact that the delivery methods are staying the same is absolutely ridiculous. I feel as though this past semester I've learned absolutely nothing from my online classes. I have one remote class, and even then I don't feel like I'm learning anything because of the shortened semester.
Assistant Dean at the School of Journalism, Dr. Wanger, says by changing back to remote and hybrid, Ole Miss will continue to stay successful during this pandemic.
We've been really successful as a university at keeping the infection rate down, and we really don't want to do anything that's going to put that in jeopardy.
With students feeling overwhelmed about their spring schedules, Dr. Wagner says not to panic. Beginning Monday, students will have access to their courses and their delivery methods, and Ole Miss advisors are ready to help.
If you can't reach your advisor, call your dean, and because we want to do everything we can to help students get the schedules that they need.
Students, if you're still struggling over your spring schedule, get a hold of your advisors. They're always here to help. Maddie Bornfleth, Newswatch, Ole Miss.
The course catalog is online for students to view and determine which classes they are planning to take.
It's important to know who will be on your ballot with Election Day coming up. You'll be looking at quite a few important races if you're a Lafayette County voter. Independent Kanye West and Libertarian Joe Jorgensen will be appearing in the presidential ballot alongside the major candidates Republican Donald Trump and Democrat Joe Biden. Senator Cindy Hyde-Smith will be facing off against Mike Espy in a tight Senate election. And there will be a vote over Initiatives 65 and 65A alongside these races. These two initiatives concern medical marijuana legalization in Mississippi. 65A is an alternative proposed by the legislator. It would restrict medical marijuana to terminally ill patients only. Need a ride to your voting booth? The university's got you covered. Every 30 minutes, shuttles will be departing campus for 3 local voting precincts. The shuttles begin operating at 8 a.m. and will stop at 6:30 p.m. on Election Day. Voters can register for a seat on the Ole Miss website. Those registered will receive reminders about shuttle service through text. Voters are reminded to bring a form of photo ID and to check their voter registration cards. This opportunity is only open to Lafayette County voters.
Sharpen those carving knives and gather your pumpkins. One Oxford contest may give you some inspiration. Emma Carrington has more.
As Halloween approaches and COVID-19 persists, many may think it especially hard to get in the season this year. But the University Museum is here to help. We spoke with Stacy Bell and Melanie Antonelli to hear about their upcoming Stark Raving Pumpkin Carving Contest.
The Stark Raving Pumpkin Carving Contest is our first event, which we hope will become an annual contest and tradition here at the museum. It came about after wanting to do something to celebrate the season and Halloween. A lot of us are Halloween lovers, so
big fans.
We put a lot of passion into this. We saw an opportunity to create this program at the right time when we have closures, we have canceled programming, and we collaborated to come together with this program that's outdoors, that's contactless.
Winners announced on social media.
Yes.
On Halloween. We have 2 brackets, our adult bracket and our youth bracket. So like we said, all ages are welcome. And prizes are awarded to our best of show, most creative for honorable mentions, honorable mention for scariest.
Not only can you find lots of spooky pumpkins on the University Museum grounds this week, but also some spooky artifacts.
We've also decorated the grounds for the season, and we've done a window display with items from our collection which are spooky and Halloween themed. We want people to come walk the grounds. They can feel free to picnic on the grounds, take pictures on our porch, take pictures with the pumpkins.
Spectators who wish to come by and check out all the entries and the Walton Young Haunted House display are welcome to come any point throughout the Halloween weekend.
To stop by and enjoy the pumpkins, as you leave campus, head down University Boulevard, past the Gertrude Ford Center, and look for the spooky yellow house on the right. Happy Halloween! Emma Harrington, Newswatch, Ole Miss.
Thanks, Emma. Those pumpkins definitely put me in the Halloween spirit. Speaking of holiday spirit, Santa Claus is coming to Oxford, but he and his reindeer will be keeping a safe distance at this year's Christmas parade. Oxford residents will drive by participating floats and performances at M Trade Park in place of a traditional parade. This will be the perfect way to kick off this holiday season, so be sure to mark your calendars for Monday, December 7th from 5:30 to 8 p.m.
Homecoming King elections are fairly new to campus. Here is why the newly elected royalty is making the last man to wear the crown proud.
Homecoming is normally a time to celebrate the king and queen, but for Detarian Jones, this year's Homecoming King at the University of Mississippi is more about inclusion.
I felt a certain sense of responsibility over the summer, like when everything was happening. And I think when I was a freshman, it was if you were not like a white Greek male, it was like you're basically not going to win anything.
Carl Tart, last year's homecoming king, described the emotion he felt when he found out another African American made history at the university.
I actually teared up a little bit when I found out that he was running unopposed. The fact that another black man will be taking on the reign as homecoming king.
For some students, winning homecoming king is just another accomplishment. But for Detarian Jones, this crown was a culmination of breaking barriers for minority students.
I think it just shows that you don't have to be in a Greek organization. You can be I'm a black male who didn't want to come here at first, and now look at me 4 years later, sharing this moment with the entire community. So I feel like it's just an inspiration for future generations to come.
Jones modeled his campaign after the slogan, "Adjust Your Crown." He says that this campaign was all about persevering through hard times.
Adjust Your Crown basically means like, yes, we're going through a lot as a community and as a people, but we can get through this. We've been through much worse. We can overcome and persevere. And I feel like just me running as an African-American male who's not Greek really made an impact on that as well.
AJ Norwood, Newswatch, Ole Miss.
Well, that's just so great to see them supporting one another. I mean, that truly just is inspiring, huh?
It really embodies the homecoming spirit.
Absolutely, absolutely. That's what Ole Miss is all about.
Yeah.
Now, we've had some drastic changes outside this week. The temperature is dropping it like it's hot.
Yes, with Tropical Storm Zeta moving in, the weather is definitely feeling colder moving into the Halloween weekend. We have more up next with how to prepare after the break.
Welcome back to Stormwatch. I'm Madeline Nolan, and tonight's forecast will be high of 47 degrees with ghoulishly clear skies and winds coming in from the north to northeast at 3 miles per hour. We will also have a 3% chance of rain. Moving on to tomorrow's forecast, we will have a high of 65, partly cloudy, and winds will be light and variable with a 10% chance of rain. And moving on to this weekend's headlines. Happy Halloween. Make sure you guys wear a coat with your costume because yes, we actually have a little bit of fall weather finally. We'll see you guys next time.
The Rebel football squad is coming off a hard loss last weekend, but this week is no time for Ole Miss to take a breath. Coming up next, Lane Kiffin will break down why the 0-3 Vanderbilt Commodores are not to be overlooked. We'll have that and more in sports, so stay tuned.
This is the story of a boy who is very sensitive to lights and sounds. So he built secret hiding places where nothing could get in. The boy didn't like looking people in the eye. It made him feel uncomfortable. One day, he found out he had something called autism. His family got him help, and slowly, he learned how to live with it better.
Early intervention can make a lifetime of difference. Learn the signs at autismspeaks.org.
Hey world, I have a quick message. It's about safe driving. All right, let's go. Anytime you're driving, have the seatbelt buckled tight. Both hands on the wheel and your phone out of sight. When not in your hand trying to text somebody back. Because if you do, your car might get smacked. The moral of the story, just put your phone down. The people on the road will stay safe and sound. Put your phone down, put your phone down. People on the road will stay safe and sound. Yeah.
Tomorrow night, head coach Lane Kiffin and the Rebel football team will hit the gridiron against the Vanderbilt Commodores in Nashville, Tennessee. But a Vanderbilt team that hasn't seen the field in 3 weeks isn't what Kiffin sees as an advantage.
Well, it's kind of dangerous, less games of us to watch on them. I believe they've had some COVID issues where it sounds like now they're getting back from them. And the players that were banged up are all coming back. So I don't know that it's a great advantage. A lot of people would like to have back-to-back buys.
And despite Vanderbilt's lack of playing experience this season, history tells us that this game could go either way when the Rebels face off against the Commodores. But after a controversial loss to the Auburn Tigers last weekend, the Rebel football team will be looking to redeem themselves tomorrow afternoon. A defense that has given up at least 21 points in every game this season must be firing on all cylinders to ensure a victory in Nashville. Sports Watch reporter Rylan Hillis is here to give you her take on this week's Shark Bike Shakedown.
After a 1-4 start to the first half of the season, Kiffin and the Rebels are looking to spark a win streak for the last leg. And that could very well start tomorrow for the Rebels as they step onto the field against Vanderbilt, who hasn't seen the field in 20 days due to COVID and a bye week. Now this could be a good thing for the Reds, but it also means Vandy has had time to study the Reds for 2 games. With Arkansas and Auburn giving Ole Miss a hard time with similar defenses, you could likely see the Commodores trying the same against the Reds tomorrow. But if you compare Vandy's offense to Ole Miss, that's where you could see the Reds getting ahead. The Commodores have only seen the end zone 3 times and gained 770 yards in total offense, which is only about 100 more yards when Ole Miss played Alabama. If Ole Miss defense can keep the Vandy offense uncomfortable and keep their offense running ahead of the defense, you could see the start of the Reds' win streak tomorrow.
Lane Kiffin and the Rebels will be hitting the gridiron against the Commodores at 3 o'clock p.m. with the game being televised on SEC Network. And kicking things over to the soccer pitch, the Ole Miss soccer team dropped a heartbreaker last Sunday to one of the top-ranked teams in the country in the number 7 Arkansas Razorbacks by the score of 2-1. Rebel forward Mo O'Connor's late second-half goal was just not enough for the Rebels to make up against the 2 first-half goals scored by the Arkansas Razorbacks. The Lady Rebels will return to the pitch tomorrow to host another top 25 matchup as they take on the 15th-ranked Georgia Bulldogs. Rain, rain, go away. That might be what Ole Miss volleyball fans say. Last week, the Lady Rebels volleyball team dropped their first 2 home games of the season in a complete sweep against the 7th-ranked Aggies of Texas A&M. These 2 season-opening losses allowed the Rebels to pick up right where they left off last season with their 12-game losing streak, now extending that losing streak to 14 games. In fact, the Lady Rebels haven't won a game since November 30th of 2019. Ole Miss will hit the court again tomorrow and Sunday in Fayetteville, Arkansas for a chance at redemption as they take on the Arkansas Razorbacks. And finally, serving up some action on the tennis court, Ole Miss senior Tim Sancolin was red hot last Sunday, winning his second singles victory of the weekend in the 2020 Bulldog Challenge. Sancolin won the first set in dominant fashion by the score of 6-1 and the third set 6-5, his victory improving his singles record to 4-2 this fall. The Rebels will be serving things up on the tennis court again at the Georgia Invitational, which will take place from November the 6th through the 8th. That's all I've got for sports. Be sure to follow us on Instagram at Newswatch Ole Miss for more of your latest sports updates. Now back to you.
We have 1 more month of fall celebrations before the winter holiday takes over.
Yes, and that means it is time to get in those last autumn activities. Stay tuned for some local ideas.
I just found out my work party is a +1. You want to go? This is my boss, Ella.
Nice to meet you, Greg.
You're welcome. Nope, I'm high. But I'll clean the kitchen while you're gone.
You're already making good decisions when you're high.
Pool party at Jesse's. Can you drive? I'm toasted.
Nope, I'm high. But I can order us a ride.
Don't make an exception when it comes to driving. If you feel different, you drive different.
We are Ole Miss Rebels. As Mississippi's flagship university, we dig deeper, see farther, work harder. We pioneered human organ transplants. We helped prove Einstein's theory of gravitational waves. We are distinguished as a Carnegie R1 top 2.5% research institution. We are Ole Miss, transforming lives and the world.
We only have a couple of days left of October, but if you're looking for some fun fall activities for November, Oxford is the place to be. St. Peter's Episcopal Church has a beautiful pumpkin to both buy and take pictures with. They are open from 10 a.m. until 6 p.m. Monday through Saturday.
Wise Family Farms in Pontotoc is another option if you are willing to head 30 minutes out of town. They have a corn maze, pumpkin patch, wagon rides, and campfires for $12 a person. They are open Thursday through Sunday.
And Roanoke on Old Taylor Road is great if you just want to get out and enjoy the cool weather. Well, those are some fantastic ideas for fall fun. I've got to get out there myself.
Absolutely. I went to Wise Family Farms last weekend, and it was so much fun. So beautiful.
Wonderful. It's been a while since I've been to Roanoke, but I would definitely love to journey out there. Faulkner's house is just...
Absolutely, and this is the perfect time of year to go.
It certainly is. It certainly is. Well, that's all we have for today. Thank you for tuning in to Newswatch Ole Miss. I'm Grayson Wolf.
You can always catch our show on YouTube, hottytoddy.com, and the local campus channel. Make sure to also follow us on social media. I'm Leah Blevins. Thank you, and have a wonderful weekend.